I'm here with Youngstown Councilman Michael Ray, and we are about to embark on the urban tour. Is that a good way to call it?
Yeah, we call it the safari, but I mean, it is a tour, and that's what it kind of started. It started out as exploration.
Yes, it's like hidden Youngstown. And these are all properties owned by the city of Youngstown that have become overgrown, are now dormant. And what spurred your interest in going through all these old properties?
We were doing a neighborhood cleanup on the west side with the Rocky Ridge Neighborhood Association, and I had my Jeep out and the doors off, and it was spring day, and three of the people that were there have planning backgrounds. They're urban planners, and they said, there's some spots in the city we just, you'd be amazed to see. So I said, let's go. We just jumped in, and I'd never been back on this trail, which is an old rail line, and it was so overgrown, and we had to inch our way through. And then I started learning about some of that history, and it kind of pieced together. I mean, we'll go as far out to the east side and the roads that we closed and part of the 2010 plan to, right size of the city. But we have all these things, and there's just hidden stuff we drive by every day that we don't realize what used to go on there.
Well, we went on this tour last year. Mike took my husband and I, it is fascinating because it really deals with the old industry. And, the rail cars, as you said, it was the old railway line, and the line is still there.
Yeah, there's remnants, the pieces of this rail line, and it's my understanding it was about 12 miles long and went from Camel into Youngstown, and the mills together built that. It was a raised rail line so they could move the molten steel between plants.
And I just think it's so interesting. When we go back, Bill, get ready, because we are going to get some amazing shots. And this is all part of our city, but honestly, you do feel like you are in a jungle. So this still is in perfect shape.
I mean, this structure is very massive. It held, rail cars full of molten steel. The I-beam underneath the center is as wide as this vehicle. So.
Now, Michael, this looks pretty overgrown.
It is, but I will tell you, the first time we came through here, no one had ever driven back here in years. So it was virtually impassable. We inched along, and there were some small trees. And we had a crowbar with us, that's all we had.
Okay.
We were banging up, beating to that, and just inched. I had no idea, not being an experienced off-roader, what the Jeep could handle.
So this is ground zero for the city of Youngstown. This is where it started.
This is Spring Commons, and you'll have a shot over there. The spring is still there, it's concreted over, and water still pours out continually. And that's where the first settlers, John Young, they came here to this spot because of there was a clearing here, and the spring was here.
And it flows right into the Mahoning River.
Yep.
And, right above it, right across from
the B&O.
The B&O
is across the river.
Is where we have our John Young statue.
Just above here is the John Young statue, the bust of John. And, it's weird because we're so, the bridge is above us, but Mahoning Avenue was much lower then. I mean, it would have been at this level. Here where we are, the street was lower.
And there was a lot of flooding back then. I mean, isn't that why they had to keep
I believe that was probably
it?
one of the factors, definitely.
Because the Mahoning River probably was a lot more active back in the day. But this is so interesting down here.
And it's funny, even when this low spot we are here, you can still see Home Savings up there. The Home Savings building is a beacon. You can probably see it from most of the spots we go to.
So right now we're underneath the Market Street Bridge. And the access way was called
Pike Street.
And this used to, when the Market Street Bridge wasn't in existence, Pike was used.
You would come down that way and go to Oak Hill, and then cross the river down that way.
On the lower bridge.
Yeah.
On the Spring Common Bridge.
Right.
And now if you could see way far to that would be what, the north end of the bridge. Underneath is where the access is going to be from Cavelli over to the soon-to-be-built amphitheater. Now, you have an excellent idea.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool if we did have expanded our park department and put a zip line so you could just zip from this side down across the river and across the rail lines. I mean, that'd probably take multiple approvals, Army Corps Engineer, Department of Transportation. But I think that would be unique, having urban zip lines right here going right across where the heart of the steel, industry was at one time.
I mean, because you have the height,
We do.
and I mean, I think the views would be absolutely beautiful over the river.
The view's amazing, and it'd be a way that we could engage with the river because we can't do anything riverfront exactly because of the rail lines. We have active rail lines. There's 3 sets of tracks right below us here on this side of the river, and there's a few on the other side of the river.
So what would the access point then? We would have to get a road.
Well, we have this road here. We have this right of way. This is the rail line. This is that same raised rail line we were on off of Pike Street.
So we would just have to develop it a little bit.
Right.
And get a ticket booth.
Yeah. We are on a closed road, part of Lincoln Park.
Now, was this from Oak Street? Did this used to be an
Yes,
entrance
this was an entrance in. As infrastructure ages, we do, take it out of service just because it's too much to maintain. But there is some neat spots down here. There's some old bridges that were WPA projects. This road used to go through. We are under 422 here. So this was a public use pool at one time. A little swampy now, but
Yeah, a little algae issue.
right. But
So this used to be
a pool.
a public swimming area.
Yeah. And if we look at the atlas when we get back, I could show you the pages where it was, Lincoln Park Pool.
All right, well, the Urban Jungle Jeep Tour, we had to hike this one.
Right.
One of the furthest points out in Lincoln Park. And as you can see, Lincoln Park is one of our oldest city parks, is like Mill Creek. And you can see the deteriorating concrete bridge, but this is so picturesque back here.
This is beautiful. I mean, we talk about Mill Creek Park, but this is right in the city limits. Several, acres of land with these old bridges, but I mean, they're in disrepair, but there's still so many neat spots to see. I encourage folks to come out, drive down into Lincoln Park.
And hike.
I mean, yep.
Because we really do have many resources, and I don't know how we're going to be able to keep up with the upkeep on all of this parkland that the city owns.
Right. And part of that, I think, is keep making part of this more of a preserve, letting it be natural, but having paths and ways for people to come and enjoy this.
And if you like to hike, just come on over to the east side, enter Lincoln Park, right through Lincoln Park Drive, and you could just walk 4 miles, and you will see the wonders and the splendor right here in the city of Youngstown.
Yep.